Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and it's the second episode of the Road to the Leopard 1 series, and I'm in the VK2001D Tier 4 German medium tank. Never had this tank before, in all the time I've been playing this game. Never went through this one, I don't know why, just never did. In fact, I think I mentioned in the last episode that I actually saw one in a match and didn't know what the hell it was, so that shows how much attention I'd been paying to the sort of low tier German part of the tech tree. And yeah, this is the first match they had in it. So last week was the tier 3, did that one in one episode I think. This one will be 2 episodes, but I'm not going to take sort of 2 weeks doing it. I'll probably upload it later in the week as a second video one day. And I would have probably got all the footage out of it today, but I don't know if, how many other people have been suffering from this sort of problem. I couldn't sign into any Microsoft account through the Xbox, email, anything basically. I just could not sign into any of them, so I couldn't get on the Xbox probably until mid-afternoon I think. So yeah, I didn't get as much time on here as I'd sort of set aside and planned for. But like I say, this is the first match. It's stock. It's not a bad little medium. 50mm of armour on the front, 40 on the sides, 30 on the rear. 30 all round the stock turret. That does go up to 57 on the front. The gun on it at the moment is 5cm. 24 rounds a minute, 60 pen, 70 damage, 96 on your premium rounds. Not particularly accurate, 0.48. But yeah, it's not a bad medium. A bit sluggish when you first get it. It's not got a bad top speed though. 50 kilometers an hour, so yeah, it's fairly good. But like I say, just a bit sluggish on the acceleration when you first, or when it's stock, should I say. But I wasn't having much luck in it through a combination of bad luck, going the sort of wrong way or being in the wrong place at the wrong time, a bit of bad judgment, and a stock tank with, yeah, not particularly good penetration for sort of tier 5 matches, let alone the tier 6 that it gets into. So yeah, it was a bit of a bad start to it really for the grind. This video does cover from stock to fully upgraded, and you get a choice of 2 guns fully upgraded. The first upgrade pack gets you basically a longer version of the same gun, so it's still a 5cm, but instead of it being an L42, it's an L60. Oh, and it's KWK 39 instead of 38. Still 24 rounds a minute, but 7 more pen on your standard rounds, which doesn't sound a lot, but it does make quite a difference, especially in your tier 5 matches. You still have to fire the odd premium round in tier 6, but that extra 7 does make quite a bit of difference. It, you know, up at high tiers it wouldn't, but down in the low tiers it does. And your premium ammunition actually goes up to 130, which is quite nice, so that can really deal with anything you'll sort of come up against. You know, it's got nice traverses as well, and like I say, it's just a nice nice medium tank, I think. You know, this one wasn't too bad a match, but it did unfortunately end up a loss. I had my engine damaged, as you can see, and my tracks at the same time. Brought the repair wheel up, and as so very typical with the repair wheel, ended up fixing my tracks by accident instead of my engine. That's what happens when you're trying to rush on the repair wheel. Had a bit of luck here, somehow managed to survive, but then unfortunately a full health A20 appears, and yeah, well, I'm on 3 health, so it just has to sneeze at me and I'm going back to the garage. But the other choice of gun that you get for a top gun on this is a 7.5cm KWK 37 L24, which is basically a howitzer, 13.9 rounds a minute, 43 pen, 110 damage, 87 and 110 for premium, 38 175 for the AG. But I've opted to stay with the 5cm on it, even though when you're top tier with it, the howitzer would, you know, work quite well. The 5cm is just more reliable in more situations, I find. And as you can see, you know, I had a couple of alright rounds, a couple of iffy rounds. This one was just bad timing and bad judgment. Well, there's a blitzer making his way around on this Churchill, and I basically made my move too early, completely fully committed to it, and screwed myself over. But then I actually managed to get a decent round in it. So, I mean, that last one, I think it was the one in Himmelsdorf, in the snowy, so the two parts of the match. That one got me enough XP to get the first upgrade pack, so I got the longer 5cm. That last match was my first game with that gun, and yeah, sucked. So this one, well, this was the first really decent match that I had in this tank. But yeah, I quite like it. It's been quite a little sort of pleasure to drive, really. Bit iffy when stock, a lot better with this longer gun, but it's got a decent rate of fire. Accuracy is better with this one. I think it's 0.4, still not great, but it's better. And yeah, it's a good little workhorse, I think. When you're top tier, you can afford to be fairly aggressive in it with your 50mm frontal armour. You've got to be, still wary, obviously, of your tank destroyers. Some of your heavy tanks, but, against the lights, the mediums, and some of the lower tiers, you can afford to be fairly aggressive. You've got good gun depression, 10 degrees, so yeah, it's been a nice tank to drive. Really quite enjoyed it, and it's nice because obviously I've been playing this game for a long time. And, you've been through most of the tanks, whatever, and then you find a little gem down at the bottom tiers that you've not really been through. And yeah, there you go. But anyway, here we are on Cliff. I think this is a tier 4 match. And like I said before, the best game I'd had in it so far. And because it's a bit quicker, I've got the first upgrade pack on here, so, it's had an engine upgrade as well. Not by much, and it does get a bit nippier, but I've rushed up to this part in the middle, just under the hill, hoping, and it turned out that I was, fast enough to basically catch anything coming up the other way. I saw there were no heavies, so I was fairly confident in doing that, being top tier and with the sort of not really being any heavies in the match. And as you saw, we basically caught the M3 Lee, caught out a tank destroyer, so yeah, it wasn't too bad. That is a play that you can do. You've got to be in something fairly nippy. Good gun depression helps, and a good turret or something like that would help as well, and just sort of popping up over there. But you've got to judge it for the tank that you're in and basically what's on the enemy team. And that's what I did, and it's worked out this time. Sometimes it doesn't. So now I've come back down here to try and have a go at this Panzer 38. And managed to take quite a little chunk of health off him there. And just where I've positioned myself is not brilliant for going at this M8A1. So I do need to reposition a bit and see if I can get a bit of damage done to him, but I take some in return actually, and was hoping that I'd reload just in time before I took another hit, but it wasn't to be, so it's not too bad though. It's towards the end of the match now. Oh, that was very close, wasn't it? With these tanks and these lower tier German ones, Panzer 4H, etc, etc, with these sort of very recognisable turrets, or sorry, the very sort of recognisable commander's hatches, there's quite a few of the lower tier tanks, sort of tier 5 and below, that use these turrets. And I've got to check if this is the case with all of them, but with all the ones I've used so far, the commander's hatch tends to be some of the thickest armour on the thing. So I know on a lot of tanks, that is obviously a weak spot. On some of these, like I say, it's not so much a weak spot, and it is actually a lot thicker than some of the other armour on the tank itself. I'm not saying don't go for it, because sometimes it's still flatter, or it's your only option, but just be, I don't know, just be aware of it, I suppose. But yeah, not a bad match. 1328 XP, 831 damage done. Not brilliant, but it's not a massively high damage gun. It's still tier 4. 4 kills though, and it got me top of the table, so yeah, I was quite happy with that. The M7 Priest, that RT had a good match. 4 kills, 980 damage, I think that was. So yeah, quite happy, or getting happier with it, should I say. And I think I've actually included all the matches I've had in this so far. So after that one, which is quite a decent match, you know, could have been better, but it was a lot better than the ones I've been having before. This was the next match, and again I think it was tier 4 match, so I'm top tier. And again, this, like I say, that one that I've just done, that was the best match I'd had in it so far. This one's better, so I was on a bit of a roll at this point. And I didn't need, I think I probably needed about 1500 maybe XP, 1300, something like that. I think it was just over 1000 XP to get not the howitzer upgrade packs. I had to buy that gun, but the sort of top upgrade pack with the turret and everything else, etc. Or in fact, no, that last match might have got me enough for that. This could be with the last upgrade pack on it. In fact, yes it is. This is, I think, the last upgrade pack, so this is the... I'm pretty sure this is the top turret with the 57mm on the front. And it's got a very good gun mantle on it, and you can use that and the gun depression to really work the ridgelines in this. Like I say, it's a good solid little workhorse, and I know some people quite like pottering about and having battles in the lower tiers every now and again, and if you've not had this one, it might be worth just spending an hour, grind up to it, and have a go. It's, like I say, it's been good fun. So anyway, all of us that were down on the end made very short work with the tanks that came around that southeastern corner. Now I've popped into the town. I'd seen that light tank, that Stuart, so I came in to have a go at him, and there seems to be, that medium does seem to be on his own, so I think I'm fairly safe in popping around the corner. I do know it's a Matilda, so yep, load the gold. They are one tough tank, especially, well, even from the back, not especially from the back, but even from the back. And I'm going to take a hit here, and they've got a very rapid firing gun. In fact, I'll take another one, and got a bit too complacent there, to be honest. I really should have moved about, but I don't know. Like I say, a bit of a day of sort of the odd dodgy judgment here and there. So now he's done, I'm taking the longer route. One, because there's already a couple of tanks going directly at him, so we'll probably be getting in each other's way. And two, if he's looking at them, he's not going to be looking at me, or if he ends up looking at me, he's not going to be looking at them, so at least one of us should be able to get some decent hits in. And yeah, something I didn't see, because I was a bit too focused on trying to take that one out, was the Blitzen sneaking up behind me. So even though it was a decent match, it ended up with me going back to the garage early. But just over 1000 damage done. First class mastery at high caliber, and 1855 XP, although some of that money did come from these ops. An extra 50% for the silver and 25% for the XP. But still 3 kills, just over 1000 damage, and that got me the top of the table. And yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure that I was fully upgraded in that match. So yeah, I was on a bit of a roll anyway. Had a couple of good matches in a row, and I was thinking, right, let's maybe have another one, see if I can get a bit of a chunk of XP towards the next tank. But no, it ended up going back to more of the same sort of. Ended up in a tier 5 match, so not the worst matchmaking I could have had, but not the best. Yeah, putting myself in a couple of dodgy positions and suffered for it, so that's about it, and this is the end of the video. I'll do the second part later on in the week, like I say, as a second video one day. But until then, I'll be back tomorrow with another video, and take care out there, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.